All right, guys. Our next guest is known for his legendary MMA career, a pioneer in the sport. He is a former UFC light heavyweight champion, UFC Hall of Famer, and has had some memorable moments in his Bellator run. He now joins us back on the program, the Huntington Beach bad boy, Tito Ortiz. Welcome back to Submission Radio.
Right on, guys. Thank you so much for having me on the show again.
As always, it's always a pleasure. Now, Tito, we noticed you celebrated Coach Jason Perillo's birthday over the weekend. Tell us, how were the celebrations? What did you guys do, and how did you guys celebrate?
I met him at one of the bars that are close to his house. We just had a few coldies, get to enjoy some beers. Me and his girlfriend and my girlfriend, we just hung out as couples and just enjoyed ourselves. So it was a good day.
Yeah, we love having Jason on the show, by the way. He's such a great guy. And sometimes it feels like the MMA community underrates his work, working with guys like you, BJ Penn, Michael Bisping, Chris Cyborg. I mean, what is it about him that makes him such an amazing coach?
I think it's just the positivity that he gives for the whole camp. I mean, not only a friend, but just the coaching style he uses. And, of course, he picks apart the opponent you're fighting, and he finds their mistakes, and we work on it during training, or at least I formally do. And now the rest of the people is Michael Bisping, Chris Cyborg, and other up-and-coming fighters that go to Ruka do the same thing. I mean, he just brings the best out of us. And he brought the best out of me through my career, through the end of my career.
That's very true. He's very personable. Every time we get him on the phone, he makes you feel very special. That Jason. Other than hanging out with him and having drinks with him, talk to us about retirement life. What have you been up to since the final fight, the big win against Chael Sonnen?
I thought the retired life would be enjoying margaritas on the beach and little cool umbrellas on it.
It's not?
But no, it's called the working life.
Oh.
You still got to work. You still got to work to pay bills. You still got to work. I don't know. It lasts for about two months, and I got bored, so I kind of realized that for people who are wealthy, to have that money, they have to have 5 resources coming in every month, and I'm up to 4 already. So I'm looking for my 5th resource. It's just I'm a worker. I'm a workaholic. I like to work. I like to bust my butt for the future of my children and the future of their kids, and so that's what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we saw on Twitter you're a very, very busy man. We see you buying up a bunch of cars. There's a bunch of stuff going on. Tell us a little bit about some of these new ventures that you've got going on. What are a couple of them that have you most excited?
Well, I think taking 22nd out of 456 in Panama in the poker World Championship for poker stars was pretty amazing. But then I get an email. This is a true story. I get an email as I'm playing poker, and I'm down to the last, I think, 4 tables, and I get an email from my agent telling me that Tyler Perry wanted me to shoot a film with him.
Wow.
So Medea 2, Boo 2 is coming out in October, and I got one of the main parts, co-star with him as one of his best friends. We play a joke on our daughters. It's a little bit of drama with comedic stuff through it, but it was exciting. I had to go all in as I got an email from my agent in poker, and I was ace queen, and this Russian guy who was one of the stack leaders in the tournament, I ended up go all in, and he goes, "Oh, I've been watching you for a while. I don't think you have it." He turns it over. He has king. I think it was king jack. I had ace queen. I was like, please no ace, because I wanted to go all in to leave because I wanted to shoot this movie with Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
So on the flop turns over ace. I was like, oh man, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. And I couldn't wait till the next day because I had to get my flight the next day. So I go on the next 10, all in, 10-5, offsuit, which I would never do that. And he called me again. I couldn't believe he called me again. He took me down. But, I had to go all in just so I could be on the next plane flight to Atlanta and shoot the film with Tyler Perry, which I learned a lot from. That and doing wholesale retail cars, just, like I said, I have these different resources coming in, managing Chris Cyborg. I mean, there's so many things that I do, and trying to make time with my kids also. With their coaching for wrestling, it becomes tough. But I'm able to spread myself thin enough where I'm having enough time to do all of it.
Mm-hmm. Wow, there's exciting. There's a lot going on there. And did you mention to this Russian guy that, hey, you didn't really get me. I'm trying to get out to do a movie, or did you let him have his moment in the sun? Because you're a good man.
Yeah,
you're the people's champion. I feel like
think
you
I
wouldn't
did
have said
when I flipped over the ace queen. I think that the next time that's why he did call me. But it was good. I was able to make 16 grand and a great time in Panama. My kids came along with me. Poker Stars treated us, like no other, as they always do. It was a good trip, but then I ended up, they went home, and I went to Atlanta and shot for 5 days. We shot the whole Boot movie, and I think 6 days they finished it.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm just wondering, did you have to do any kind of crazy preparations? Was this was this like Christian Bale sort of preparing for The Machinist, where you had to sort of have a completely different look, or were you sort of playing more or less yourself? You could sort of keep on the size and everything.
No, it's pretty much just playing his best friend in college, who was a father of a daughter. His daughter was my daughter's best friend, and we're trying to play a joke on them. They're going to college, and they want to go up to the lake, and his daughter's birthday was at the time, and they lied to us, and we ended up playing a joke on them. People got to see it when it comes out. Of course, it's Medea Boo 2. It should be out right in October, I believe. But it was a great experience with Tyler Perry. The guy's an amazing producer, director, actor. He did everything. I mean, like I say, we shot pretty much about 30 pages a day. And
Wow.
Anybody's in the film industry, that's super, super, super fast. I mean, he's doing directing and production, right there. And acting. And he plays 3 different characters. It's amazing to watch this guy work. I learned so much from it.
Yeah. Well, that's great, man. And, we used to love seeing all your different cameos back in the day and all the different movies. So it's great to see you back at it. I know you mentioned that you got a little bit bored during your retirement. A lot of people and a lot of fans in the community, in the MMA community, thought you may have actually been on your way back to having one more fight. Did you at all have the itch to come back and fight again, or was that not even a thought in your mind?
Not even a thought in my mind. I'm still dying from neck pain. I have to get neck surgery here, and I was supposed to get it a month and a half ago, and I just insurance got denied, so I got to wait. They got to appeal it, and after they appeal it, then it has to go through back and forth, the paperwork. They make you jump through fire hoops to get the surgery done, and I just I don't know, man. I can't stand the pain, but I have to wait to get the surgery. So fighting hasn't even been an idea. Getting in the gym and training hasn't even been an idea. I haven't gotten into the gym since right before the fight. I think that's the last time I did anything strenuous like that was fighting Chael Sonnen.
Wow. And that's crazy, because for you, that's probably a very, very long time to sort of not be active and be away from the gym. We have to ask, though, while we're sort of talking about fighting, there's been a bit of back and forth between you and Chuck Liddell recently. It all started when there was this picture of you guys posted Chuck Liddell's Instagram with the caption, "Why not?" Tell us, how did this picture even come about? What happened?
Well, I was at a poker event with Poker Stars, and he was at the same event also playing. And the media wanted to take a face-off picture, and I said, cool. And then we started walking towards the back. So let's do another face-off picture, and let me post it. And I was like, all right, cool. It's not going to happen. Why? But I guess he just wanted to get some play out of it, which he did. That night, I reposted, why not? And, I said, why not? I just, I set it on emotions. I probably shouldn't have did what I reposted. But at that time, I had a couple drinks in me, and the bad boy comes out every once in a while. I just, I just don't plan on fighting. I don't plan on people trying to force me to fight. I have to get a neck surgery. Why would I even think about fighting? Why would I even think about risking myself physically? I got to take care of kids still. So I probably shouldn't have said what I said on my Twitter. I was saying, do you need money? I'll lend it to you. I probably shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have posted the photo or the video of him in Texas. But like I say, I did it all on emotions. I thought it was funny at the time, and I apologized after. And it's behind me now. But like I say, Chuck wanted to get some play out of it. He did. I'm too old to be fighting. I'm 42 years old. I'm too old. I'm not a Randy Couture, and I really don't need the cash right now. So I'd rather make money on other means of more mental than the physical side. Being in the gym, 7 days a week, or 6 days a week, 6 to 8 hours a day is not really in my idea of working anymore. That's behind me now. It's been 20 years, and I think I've done what I needed to do. And, Yeah, I think I could beat Chuck, but still, I don't need to do that anymore. My body can't take it. That's been my biggest enemy through my whole career is my body. So I got to step back and I got to use my brain. That's what I went to college for. So let's go ahead and continue doing that. It's been exciting since.
Yeah, I think it's smart, and it takes a lot to sort of make that transition and sort of be honest with yourself like that. But I'm just wondering, you mentioned Chuck getting some play out of it. He definitely did get some play out of it. Did he mention anything to you during that night? Did he sort of say, like, look, I'm trying to come back? Did he ask you about, hey, would you be interested in fighting? Did he sort of preposition you like that?
No, but he actually that night he didn't. But I know prior he has people reach out to my people saying that we should fight each other again. I left on my own terms. I left when I wanted to leave. I didn't leave because I got knocked out 4 times in a row. I left when I needed to leave. I took the best I possibly could do, and I walked away. And I think I left in a storybook ending. No reason for me to come back and mess anything up and try to push my body beyond it. It needs to go. And like I said, that's been my worst enemy through my career has been my body. But with Chuck, that night he never came up to me and said, let's post it and let's fight and so forth. He said a couple people came up to him, they would make some big money out of it, and I was just like, I don't want to fight anymore. You know what? It's not even the factor of fighting. I don't want to train anymore. That's what it is. I don't think my body can handle the training. It's just so rigorous on the body. I've been doing it since I've been a sophomore in high school. I've been wrestling, and that's like 50% of my game is wrestling. So it's hard to do. And going on my 4th neck surgery, it's just nothing that interests me. I don't want to have neck surgery after neck surgery where I'm literally fused from C1 all the way down to C7 and then go in the thoracic, which is T level, down to lower lumbar. I don't want that to happen to my spine. And enough surgeries for me. I have one more ahead of me, and I want to be done after that.
Absolutely. You've had more surgeries in one lifetime than anybody should. I'm just curious though, when did Chuck reach out to you, or when did his people reach out to you? Was this when you were still in the UFC, or was this when you were in Bellator? When abouts was it?
It was like right when I was retiring. I think it might have been right after I retired.
So after the Chael fight?
Yeah, I don't have no interest in it. I don't know. Especially after the Chael fight, when I'm sitting with my neck the way it feels. I mean, here in the States, they only give you so much medication to kind of kill the pain for the day, and it's not enough medication. I got to suffer for 6 hours of the day just to wait for my next medication to have to kind of dull the pain. So I got to wait until surgery happens, and when that happens, this knife could take it out of my neck. That's how bad it hurts.
Yeah, no, that's horrible. A lot of people sort of confused, Tito, as to what your relationship with Chuck is. I mean, we all saw what happened in Tough when you guys are versing each other. We know, in his book, he's spoken a little bit about not liking you at certain points in his career. But are you guys friends behind the scenes? Were you ever friends? And what's your relationship like really behind the scenes right now? On the side, away from all the social media stuff and the stuff that Chuck was trying to do to try and get this 3rd fight.
Listen, when we first became together, we were managed by the same person. We were Team Punishment. We were the first Team Punishment, me and Chuck Liddell. He would come and stay at my house in Huntington Beach. I'd let him sleep on my couch, and he'd do the same thing when I'd go to San Luis Obispo. Him try to say that we were never friends and so forth. It was he was buying into what UFC were selling, and that's the whole deal. He didn't care about what money he got paid. He just wanted to fight. That's all. He wanted to be champion. That's all he cared about. My idea, if we're going to be friends and we're going to fight each other, we're going to make big money. We're going to make, $5 million, $10 million. We're going to make a big chunk of what UFC were making at the time. I think one of the biggest ones they got were over $42 million for our second fight. And we just got maybe, I think, 4% of that, 3% of that, if that. It just didn't make sense to me. And he caved in the very first fight when we fought, and we got paid $150,000 a piece, which is pennies. And for him to give away our friendship for that, we became acquaintance. And when we do see each other, it's, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, buddy? And no more than that. That's the way I am towards friends who turn their back on me. It's acquaintance. I'm fine with it. When I'm close to someone, I treat them like family. And I think that's the way it should be. When you become a friend with somebody, it should be like family. If money is involved, and the same thing goes with Quentin Rampage Jackson. We were going to make sure that we made money. We're going to make millions when we fought. Even in Bellator, we're still going to make millions when we fought. And that was the reason why we're going to fight each other. Now with Chuck was totally different. He didn't care. He was willing to fight no matter what, and I just didn't. It didn't make sense to me. So for him to turn his back on me the way he did, there was always that little grudge towards each other. And nowadays, it's once again, it's just, hey, what's up, handshake, good to see you too, right on, and no more than that.
I mean, the big difference, I guess, in both of your careers is Chuck had to retire in 2010. Well, you had the opportunity to keep fighting in Bellator, and you had another great run. Even though there is that thing that happened between you two, does part of you kind of feel bad for how things turned out for Chuck having to retire before the sport kind of really blew up? And then not really having that opportunity to have that extended run that you had, especially when the sport grew to the size that it is?
Yeah, I mean, that happens to fighters. You know, some guys can fix their problem and move on and get better. Take a couple losses, come back. I mean, as I did, I took 5 losses in a row until I came back and did something. It's hard. You know, you look at Ronda Rousey and she's taking the loss she has, and can she get back and do it? It's hard for a person to do that, but I was always set in my mind that I could achieve anything as long as I set my mind to the right way. But you know, I can't help a person's career if I'm not managing them, and they don't want to listen to me as a friend. As I tried to talk to Chuck a long time ago as a friend, and he wouldn't listen to me. It is what it is, and that's the way it played out. UFC had his back after he retired, so he was getting paid all the way up to last year, and now he's not getting paid anymore. He's kind of realizing, what am I going to do now? And that's the way it is. It's too bad. I wish people would listen to other friends who have been through it.
And also a lot of people in the community sort of wondering if fighting another time is the right thing for Chuck. I mean, he is quite a bit older, and in 2010 when he retired, he wasn't the fighter that he once was. Would you actually want to see Chuck come back and fight again? Because a lot of people are very hesitant about and worried about him getting back in that octagon or in Bellator, for example.
I would be very worried about him. I think that was one of the reasons why Dana pulled him from the UFC to fight in general. I think he needs to look at the history. That's super. I mean, as a friend, that concerns me. I mean, I would be concerned about the person, not only just to see a person fight. We've had our time. We've shined when we needed to shine, and that's why I walked away personally. I shine when I needed to shine. I don't need to hurt myself anymore. I don't need to try to kill myself to prove anybody how bad I truly am, because I know how bad I am. I don't need to show it to anybody. And I hope Chuck understands that himself, how bad he truly is, and he doesn't need to show anybody.
I mean, just finally on Chuck before we move on, I know you mentioned if that third fight happened, you feel like you would have won. I mean, the first two didn't quite go away, but if you know your neck was healthy enough and for some reason you decided to fight him, how do you think that third fight would play out if it happened today?
You know, I think just my mental side of it now compared to where I was back then, I was a totally different person. Number one was my life wasn't about fighting. It was about taking care of a relationship and taking care of my children that was falling apart. Now it's totally different. My family's completely solid. Amber Miller is my girlfriend that helps with my children. That is, you know, pretty much their mother. Not blood, but just the way she's been here now for the last 4 years, and she's taken the place and made my family super, super happy. Has made me super, super happy. And that's what number one is. My kids happy, me happy. I'm a dangerous person to that. You know, yeah, my loss to Liam McGarry was a little mistake that I made, but you know, I could have went 3-0 and be the Bellator world champ and retired, but I made a little mistake and I didn't, but I did win 3 of those fights of the 4. I just now I'm a different fighter. I think I'm super dangerous, and I think Chuck's chin is very, very weak. Once you get knocked out, it gets easier and easier each time. But that's just, you know, my opinion. I just think, like I say, I'm a different fighter. I'm a different person in general. I'm not the same person I was from 2007 to 2013. I changed completely in general.
It's great to see that, you know, you've gotten everything in order from, you know, your career to sort of your personal life. Tito, we appreciate the time you're giving us. One more thing we want to quickly talk to you about before we let you go is you're talking about friends and managing, and obviously Chris Cyborg is the first person that comes to mind. And just curious, some of the things that she's been going through recently. You know, we know there was, you know, a bit of a controversy. Some people thought it was kind of funny. It was pretty entertaining, but you know, interesting situation at the UFC retreat where you know, her and Angela Magana were involved in a bit of an altercation. Just curious, what was your takeaway from that whole situation?
A fighter puts their hands on me, I'm punching him in the face too. You touch me, I'm defending myself, and that's what Chris did. She's seen red, and she swung because she thought she was going to get punched. And you don't put your hands on someone like Chris. That's scary. Even a woman putting her hands on Chris. Chris is a very, very dangerous person. She's really dangerous with her hands. I mean, she knows. I mean, she knows now to control herself a little bit more. But I think at the time it was just built up so much of this girl bullying her on the internet, and then all of a sudden she puts her hands on Chris. Chris's reaction to defend herself. And at the end of the day, I tell her it's wrong, the wrong thing to do. But you put your hands on somebody else, expect to get punched, especially if you're a fighter. Because usually after a push, a punch does happen, and she was just reacting to defend herself. And I defend her for doing it. I would do the same thing myself.
Can you clarify that for us, Tito? Because I know the footage was out where it showed Chris punching, but right around when that happened, like somebody walked in the way, and it was very hard to make out. So was it a situation where Magana sort of put her hands on Chris? Because I think a lot of people weren't really aware of that. Did Chris explain that situation, and is that how it started?
That she put her hands on Chris, and then that Chris said she doesn't know what happened. She's seen red, so. I heard that the other girl said that she got punched in the face and she got a tooth knocked out, which she couldn't prove. I know Chris had a little scuff on her fist, but I'm sitting where you guys are sitting, where you're seeing it, and that's all I know.
Well, she's in an interesting situation, Tito. I mean, the champion of the division, Jermaine Durandami, refuses to fight her. Fans are a little bit confused as to what's going on.
Yeah, she
what's going on?
All the girls that want to fight her should. I mean,
what do you make of it?
Very, very, very dangerous woman. I mean, this girl is vicious when she fights. This is not a game to her. This is not going to play soccer or basketball or anything. This is a fight. She's fighting for her life, and all she does is train. That's why she's one of the baddest women on the planet. She'll fight anyone, anywhere, anytime. And Chris Cyborg, I mean, the numbers don't lie. The girl she has earned everything she's gotten so far. That's why she'll be fighting for a vacant world title, because the other girl don't want to step up and fight.
As her manager, because I'm curious, with Chris, sometimes she posts certain things, and we're not sure how to take it. She talks about things where her contract is about to run out, and the UFC sort of needs to give her a fight. As her manager, do you want to continue seeing her in fighting in the UFC? Is that the goal? Or if the UFC can't get her these kind of fights, would you rather her sort of take her services elsewhere, where maybe she'll be appreciated and she can get the fights that she needs?
Well, I think UFC is the home for her, because it's one of the oldest organizations, that have done so well. It's on a huge main stage. I would love to see her continue to be the world champion for there. I mean, this is her choice. At the end of the day, she's the one that's doing the fighting. She's the one that's stepping in the cage and fighting in general. But, we want to make sure that she makes $1 million paydays. And we're almost there. So as soon as she does get there, she'll understand what all the hard work's been paying off for. The decision at the end of the day is hers, as I said. George Prazian has a lot to do with it. With Primetime 360, he's an amazing agent. We work really hard to make sure that she says the right things, and sometimes on the internet, she lets her emotions get the best of her sometimes, and I've had that problem, and I kind of tell her not to do it. But she's a girl, and she makes mistakes, and she's human. But at the end of the day, as long as she's fighting in the UFC and fighting for the world title, I think that's her main goal.
So what is going on with her next? Because a lot of people think she's going to be on UFC 214. There's no real opponent at the moment that's a clear-cut next opponent for her. Is she going to? Do you think she's going to make UFC 214? Do you guys have any opponents at the moment that you're looking at for her to fight on that card?
Actually, I believe there's 3 opponents. I can't say the names, but we'll be letting out the news. Hopefully by the end of this week, it'll get signed and done. I know she's on the card, so we're just kind of waiting right now. This will be a George Prazian answer, a question to him and an answer from him. But I guess you can see it online at Primetime 360, that ESM, that what Chris's next fight and who she'll be fighting.
Wow. Just tell us this. Will it be potentially 135-pounders moving up, or is this a 145-pounder being brought in? If you can tell us that, Tito.
I believe it's a 145-pounder being brought in, I think. Someone's super, super tough. Actually, we got three choices. The girls are super tough. Nothing at Chris's level, so, I don't think there's any woman in the world at Chris's level. Ronda had her choice, had her chance, and she ran away, so I don't think it's going to be even close to her. But it'll be a good name, big name. Someone's willing to fight her. Does she have a chance? Probably about a million to one. So yes, there is a chance. But Chris is a monster, man. Let me tell you, in wrestling, I have men wrestling with her, and they can't take her down or hold her down. So they're getting taken down by her. So like I say, and that's her weak suit is wrestling. Her striking is amazing. Jason Perillo's done an amazing job with the striking, along with Brian Krause. Chris just continue to train the way she is, and will be invincible. I mean, she's a very vicious woman who works really, really hard, and she'll be the next UFC 145-pound world champ.
Awesome. So fans can expect to possibly see her on that card. Just quickly, Tito, before we let you go, we want to get a prediction from you. I mean, you're freshly retired, but Bellator's going to have a huge event over at New York City. The main event, of course, Chael Sonnen versus Wanderlei Silva. Before we let you go, I want to get a quick prediction from you. I mean, you've just recently beat Chael Sonnen very, very quickly and handily. How do you see this main event going for Bellator?
I think it'll be really, really interesting. Chael Sonnen's super weak. He's kind of like a girl. He's so soft. I can't believe how soft he is. So I think Wanderlei is just buzzsaw right through him. But, Chael's wrestling is okay. If he does wrestle, if he tries to strike with Wanderlei, he's going to get knocked out. I watched a while back when he did The Ultimate Fighter how Chael did take him down pretty easy. So I think if Wanderlei worked on his takedown defense, I think it'll be a really hard fight for Chael to win. But, the Fedor fight is another fight with Mitrione. That's another fight I want to see. I'd like to see Mitrione with the stand raised, but Fedor is a very, very dangerous person. And Michael Chandler is a monster. He is the Iron Mike 100%. That champ is exciting to watch. Just watching his training is amazing. So I think the card up and down is going to be great. I'll be there myself. I'll be in New York watching it live, so it's going to be exciting.
Oh, that's awesome. It's going to be an amazing card. We wish we were there as well, so we're a little bit jealous, and it's great that you'll be there so fans can go there, can meet you, obviously, get a bunch of photos with you and things like that, so that's great. And Tito, I feel like we've stolen enough of your time, but we really appreciate it. We love getting updates from you, and we love hearing that everything's going well for you, obviously, in terms of career-wise. You got a lot of projects. You got the movie coming out in October with Tyler Perry, so a lot of things at the moment. Guys, you can follow Tito on Twitter at Tito Ortiz, and follow him on Instagram as well at Tito Ortiz 1999. As always, Tito, thank you so much for jumping on the program, chatting with us.
All right, cool, man. Thank you so much. And of course, you go on YouTube, Tito Ortiz. I just made my YouTube channel. You can subscribe, and I believe on Thursday I'll have my next video up. Probably about 10, 15 minutes, so hopefully I don't bore you too bad, but it'll be some exciting stuff on my career, and I'm going to start my YouTube channel and try to make it exciting. I watch The Rock does, so, my editing won't be as great as his because I don't have a huge company, but I'll try to do it for myself and do it just for my fans.
Oh, there you go. Check out Tito Ortiz. And sorry, one more time. What was the YouTube channel, Tito? How do people find it?
YouTube, Tito Ortiz. If they go on Instagram, you'll see the link on there of it says Ortiz on YouTube, and same on my Twitter also. You can see it's right on my front main page, and it'll click you right through to subscribe.
There you go, guys.
We're giving out free gifts, free punishment stuff. I'll send it to you, autograph posters, all kinds of stuff I'm going to be signing and giving out to fans.
What a deal. Awesome. Well, there you go, guys. Go for it. Subscribe. And Tito, again, thank you so much for jumping on the program. Appreciate it.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support.